Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Blue Jay Family Live panel, helping seniors prepare for graduation. I'm going to let some folks join here. I know our participants are coming in. Give everyone a second to get on. Thank you so much for being here this evening. We will be talking about getting your seniors prepared for graduation. How exciting. We are excited to have you all here, and we're just going to give it a couple minutes, couple seconds as you all keep joining. Our attendee list is increasing, so I want to make sure you all have time to be here for the whole panel. Thank you for your patience. Awesome. So I'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Morgan Freshour. I'm the Assistant Director in the Office of Student and Family Support. I'll be your host tonight. This panel will last 1 hour and it will be recorded. So any questions that you may have at the end of the panel, we'll have time for our panelists to answer. And if you want to go back to those questions, we'll have this live panel recorded and you can access that on our Blue Jay Family portal where we'll upload it within the week. Excuse me. Tonight we'll be utilizing the Q&A function for questions. So if you all could open the Q&A function, which I believe is on the bottom of your screen, it says Q&A. If you want to hover to that and go ahead and put in what city or state you're coming from tonight, where you're tuning in from, that would be awesome, just to see, make sure it's working. Awesome. I see Houston, Texas, California. Oh yeah, Seattle, Kansas. Amazing. Thank you all for your cities. So glad you're here. So first I want to start off by just giving a quick promotion about the Office of Student and Family Support. The Office of Student and Family Support is here to support you and your Blue Jay from now all the way till graduation, which it's approaching. We have our Blue Jay Family newsletter that is sent out monthly, our Blue Jay Family Live panel, which is what you're currently attending, our Blue Jay Family social media accounts, as well as our email, family@creighton.edu, and our Blue Jay Family portal. Additionally, with that, we have our success desk, which you all can reach at 402-280-1212. We always say if you don't know what to do, call 1212. That is our one-stop shop here at Creighton, where we want to make sure you feel supported and your student feels supported while they're here. Tonight, we have a great panelist group here, and I would like to introduce them. So tonight, we have Jeremy Fisher, our Senior Director of the Fahey Career Center. We have Jerry Coleman, Assistant Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. We have Marie Angeli, the Assistant Registrar, as well as Quinn Hedgelick, the Financial Aid Counselor. With all these awesome folks, we're going to go ahead and get started. And I believe, Jeremy, you are up first.
Thank you so much, Morgan, and welcome seniors and parents and families of seniors. As Morgan said, I'm the director of our Career Center at Creighton University, and I oversee all of our undergraduate and graduate career services. And one thing to note about our office is that we have career advisors assigned and dedicated to each of our colleges and schools. So if you are in the College of Arts and Sciences, we have Arts and Sciences career advisors, or nursing career advisors, or business career advisors if you're in our Heider College of Business. And then if you are continuing your education through Creighton and the graduate and professional school, we also have career advising for our professional health sciences and graduate programs as well. And the nice thing about the Career Center is no matter where you're at in your current student status or as an alum in your professional career, the Career Center is always free for life. So you can always come back and use the Career Center services. Even if you're doing a gap year after graduation or 5 years down the road, you're making the job change, we can help you with that throughout your professional time. So, but what my biggest advice I'd like to start with is if you're not actively working with one of our dedicated career advisors, that's the first thing I would highly recommend. You can schedule an appointment with a career advisor in the Career Center, either for an in-person appointment or a virtual career advising appointment through Handshake, which is our online career management system. You can get to Handshake through your single sign-on students just by logging in with your NetID at creighton.edu and your university password by going to creighton.joinhandshake.com. And that's also where you'd be able to find, it's one job board with many that are out there, but you can find full-time positions, part-time positions, internships if you're still looking for an internship for the school year. But also you can find information about upcoming, campus recruiting events and interview schedules, career fairs, variety of things like that that can certainly help you, not only now, but in the future as well. And then obviously meeting with a career advisor if you're still deciding what your plans are going to be. We have a lot of students who have already know they're looking for a job. They're starting that job search process. We have some students who are exploring graduate programs and getting their application materials ready, or professional school, programs. And some students are maybe still on the fence on, should I do a gap year or 1 or 2 year of, postgraduate volunteer programs. So at least discuss and clarify your post-graduation plan so the Career Center can help promote and provide those opportunities to you as well. The more we get to know you and our career advisors get to know you, the more we can help you going throughout your senior year. First thing we would also recommend doing is working with us that we can help you update your resume or your CV. Or if you are applying to grad or professional school, we do review personal statements for those application processes, whether you're applying to medical school or dental school or, pharmacy, OT, PT, or other, law school or other professional programs or graduate programs. So that's something that we definitely would want to work with right away, just so that's ready to go and you can start applying as soon as possible to things throughout the year. And then as you get maybe down the road, once you start applying either to a full-time position or starting to get some interviews for admissions, again, for those professional and graduate school programs, I would highly recommend coming back to the Career Center to participate in a mock interview or a practice interview. And we can do that both virtually or in person, depending on what type of format your interview is in. So something that we want to make sure that our students take advantage of and prepare themselves to be as successful as possible once you have those interview opportunities. Next slide, Morgan, please. And if you are looking for a full-time position or in even graduate and professional school as an option too, we always highly recommend, having someone Google search you and see what they can find on you, because employers and grad school admissions representatives may be searching just a quick search on your social media to see what type of character you might have, and want to make sure that that's cleaned up and updated, fairly nicely in terms of your, confidential information. So if you have any pictures out there, anything, tweets, posts, information about that that could be questionable, then certainly, we can work with you on some of those topics and what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. But, we are seeing now in today's social media age, a lot of people getting in trouble with work or in job applications from some of the things that they posted. So I want to make sure that you set your settings to private and make sure that that's not something that someone can easily find. And then if you are applying to, again, jobs or grad schools, I highly recommend starting with a spreadsheet of, where you're applying, what you're applying for, when you applied. And so you can start early and track those applications. That way you kind of keep track of, in case you do get a call back for an interview, and you can go quickly to that link or that job posting and really prepare heavily for that opportunity that you're going to interview for, just by going through that research again and really studying that job description or that program description a little bit more in detail, again, before you go on that interview. The Career Center can certainly help you get connected to employers, so college recruiters, HR professionals, talent acquisition professionals, as well as Creighton alumni throughout the country in various industries and fields. So if you're wanting to help with networking or following up after applications, the Career Center has several, alumni databases and contacts databases that you can access through the Career Center website. Or you can, join the many university LinkedIn groups to find alumni very easily by school or college. And you can also search for alumni at certain companies that you might be applying with. And that's a great way to get your foot in the door too, with an internal referral for, an opportunity to increase your chances of getting some more interviews. And then we do have career fairs every semester. So for example, our upcoming all majors fall career fair is actually this Friday, September 26th. It's in the Harper Center ballroom from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock Central. We actually are sold out. We have 100 employers and organizations coming to attend. We have a waiting list of organizations that want to be on campus, but unfortunately our ballroom's not large enough to have 112 employers. So, but we have employers in healthcare systems, corporate, nonprofit, government organizations. I know, for example, like the FBI will be there, and a variety of other employer organizations, both county, state, and federal government opportunities, and a variety of grad schools and postgraduate volunteer service programs as well. So if you're thinking, maybe something like Jesuit Volunteer Corps or AmeriCorps or Peace Corps, most of those organizations will be at our career fair as well. So we'll have another career fair in the spring. It's usually the third week of February. highly recommend attending one or both of those, depending on the timing of your process. But and then if you are in nursing or in a healthcare field, pre-health, for example, we also offer a virtual health careers fair in the first week of November. That'll be on our Handshake platform, but that career fair is specifically for our healthcare programs. So nursing, pharmacy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, our PA programs, and our pre-health students too, looking for other experiences. So and then once you start getting those interviews and job offers, that's one of the services that we also provide to students. Is we can help you review the benefits packages, compensation. We can review the job offers and salaries and make sure it's a competitive offer. And if you feel like, based on research that we have, based on our outcomes data and national salary data, we can help coach you through that negotiation process if needed. So, but those are just some of the services that the Career Center can help with, and we're happy to help you as seniors. And again, beyond even post-graduation, we're here to help. So next slide has some good news. Honestly, I've been at Creighton for over 20 years, and for the last 10 years, our Creighton graduates have averaged a 99% success rate of first destination career outcome success, meaning our Creighton graduates, have a job lined up within 6 months of graduation, or they've been accepted into graduate or professional school, or they have a confirmed plan to do a 1 or 2 year postgraduate volunteer program, that gap year service. So this data is specifically for our class of 2024. Our class of 2025 data will be finalized 6 months post grad, so that'll be upcoming in November here. But class of 2024, we had a 98% outcomes rate. And we heard back from 82% of our students, which is a high knowledge rate or response rate that we hear from the majority of our students what they're doing, after graduation. So some other great news is that 100% of our first generation students had a success rate of, again, 100%. So we're very, very proud of that. And again, work very closely with our students and want to work very closely with our students to make sure you're going to be successful after your time at Creighton. So really, the main differences with the colleges is you can kind of see, again, with our College of Arts and Sciences, about half of our students do go on to continue their education into graduate and professional school. A good number of them certainly go into the job market as well, but we have a much higher concentration of our nursing and business grads going directly into the workforce. So again, that's just a little bit of differences there between our colleges and schools, but we're happy to help you no matter what your goals are after graduation. And then the last slide just kind of highlights, again, the strength of our geographic diversity. And again, with only 20% of our students at Creighton from Nebraska, we pull in students from all over the country and all over the world. And last year, our students ended up in 42 different states, plus Washington, D.C., and 11 different countries. And again, no matter where you're from, again, we want to help connect you to those employers and alumni in those fields of interest and those geographic areas of interest that you might have in the various industries that you might be interested in exploring. So, and again, to highlight and conclude on the good news I mentioned earlier is that, again, 99% average over the last 10 years, which we're very proud of, which puts Creighton among some of the elite institutions in the country. So I'll leave it there for now. I'm happy to answer questions through the chat later on. And thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us today.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jeremy. I will be moving on now to Jerry Coleman, who is the Assistant Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Jerry, go for it.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. And I apologize, I don't think you can see me, right? Every time I turn my camera on, I get kicked off the webinar. So maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't be showing my ugly mug on the internet.
No, Jerry, you're fine. Yeah, we cannot see you, but we can hear you just fine. So go ahead.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. All right. So as Morgan said, I'm Jerry Coolman. I'm an assistant dean in the College of Arts and Sciences. My role with seniors is pretty large, but although I work in the College of Arts and Sciences, all of this applies directly to students in the College of Arts and Sciences. I have counterparts in the Heider College of Business and the College of Nursing who do the same sorts of things that I do. There's similar process. There might be small differences in what I tell you tonight if you're in the College of Business or the College of Nursing, but generally the ideas are the same. So right around registration time of the last semester that a student is in undergrad at Creighton, when they're seniors, they should get an email from me and the email should say that it's time to come and meet me for your senior check. So I try to meet with every single senior individually for a senior check. Those are meetings that we have that last probably 20 to 30 minutes typically, and we go over the degree audit program that Creighton uses called DegreeWorks. We look at students' credit hours to make sure they have enough, upper level hours to make sure they have enough there. We look at the core requirements to make sure that they will have met all of the Amaja's core, and then also the College of Arts and Sciences core. And then we look at any majors and minors that students have on their record to make sure that all of those requirements are met as well. I like to wait, if possible, until students get registered for their final semester of courses, so then we can actually see on the DegreeWorks program that all of the requirements are met, hopefully. And if we find some that are not, then my role is to figure out why, figure out if there are substitutions being made in within majors or within minors. Oftentimes departments do that. And if there are notes, I fix the DegreeWorks program so students have that peace of mind, hopefully, when they leave my office, to know that if they complete all the classes that they are in, that they will graduate and that their requirements will be met. So this, for May seniors, this will happen starting in like early November and throughout the end of this first semester, and then into the second semester, almost all the way to spring break, I'm doing senior checks. So that's part of my role. I also communicate with departments because oftentimes, as we said, departments have unique relationships with their students and they do some substitutions. They do maybe there's course numbering changes. There might be things that cause boxes not to be showing as met in the DegreeWorks program. So I work with departments on that stuff as well, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page, student, department, and the college dean's office as far as graduation clearances go. And then I also check again at the end of the semester when grades come out to make sure that nothing has changed. So to make sure that students have passed all those classes that they're in, that's that final semester. And then I communicate with the registrar's office. The registrar's office works very closely with all three undergraduate colleges on graduation clearances. And in May, mid-May, I guess it is, typically, I am letting the registrar's office know, hopefully, that all the students that we have that want to graduate are clear. There are times when students fail a class, or there are some unforeseen circumstances that happen where a student does not meet all graduation requirements. And in those cases, my role is to help that student and try to find a path to graduation. I really take pride in being an advocate for the student and also just sort of a problem solver. So students should not be afraid to come see me, to communicate with me, and just basically to keep me in the loop about whatever's happening their senior year in terms of their academic requirements. And then Morgan, if you want to switch to the next slide, the students' roles and responsibilities during the senior year. This isn't quite the order I don't think they're in, but first and foremost, it's very important throughout a student's Creighton career that they check their Creighton email on a daily basis. Email is the official way that we communicate with students. So hopefully by the senior year, they're in that habit, checking their emails daily. Students should also check their DegreeWorks program, I would say at least once a month, just to make sure that everything is as they think it is in terms of their requirements. And students should know what DegreeWorks is. They should have that information from their advisors, and they should know how to check that. Also, every semester, right after spring break and right after fall break, so every semester after that mid-semester break, when students come back, they should meet with their advisor. That's sort of a constant all the way through freshman to senior year. And during that meeting, senior year, just make sure that the advisor and the student are on the same page about all major and minor requirements that the student needs to meet. And then if substitutions are being made, it's really helpful during that meeting if the advisor puts a note into the DegreeWorks program so that I can know of any substitutions and fix that program so that they can see all the green boxes and have that peace of mind. And then finally, just communicate. I meet with a student at one point in time during their senior year and we do the senior check. But it's important for students to just always keep me and keep their advisor in the loop about anything that changes throughout the semester. 99% of the time things are great, but we all know that sometimes things don't go as planned. So in that case, again, I hope that students will see me as a problem solver and an advocate and someone who can really help them and really wants to help them. And I always just want to say that like the senior checks are probably my favorite part of my job. It's incredible for me to see the growth in students that happens from freshman year to senior year. Oftentimes when we meet for senior checks, all the requirements are great and it just kind of becomes a great conversation between the student and I about their hopes and their dreams and their future, their goals, sometimes their fears and anxieties. But it's great to form that relationship. The students really gain a trust and I want them to know that they can approach me with whatever they need. So just communicate is if you remember one thing from this presentation, that would be it. Email and don't be afraid to approach me with whatever they need. All right. I think that's all for the night for me, and I will turn it back to Morgan.
Thank you, Jerry. We will move on over to Quinn Hedgelick for our financial aid portion. Quinn, go for it.
All right, thanks so much, Morgan. So yeah, my name is Quinn. I'm one of the financial aid counselors here at Creighton. I work primarily with graduate and professional students, but I can also answer any questions you have about undergrad as well, or sort of that transition between undergrad and grad or undergrad to repayment. And that's part of what we're going to talk about today, is mainly looking at the next, what is it, 8 months or so of your degree, and then how that will transition into repayment. And setting yourself up for success within that. So as you start to do this, start to prepare for loan repayment. Remember that mandatory loan repayment begins 6 months after graduation or dropping below half-time status. So you've got a little bit of time. Your federal student loans are not in repayment right now. You don't have to make any payments right now, but that will begin probably about November or so of 2026. So you've got time, but this is the time to start preparing for that and start thinking about that. Don't let it sneak up on you. A good way to do this right now even is using the loan simulator on studentaid.gov. That's at this link here. And what that does is it looks at your specific federal loan information. So every federal student loan that you've borrowed up to this point, it pulls that information in directly. And then it shows you a comparison of different repayment plans based on your debt as of right now. You can also put in estimated future debt. So for example, for the spring semester, and it's a really good way to see side-by-side comparisons of what different payment plans look like. So I strongly encourage you to use that tool. It's very easy, it's very quick, and it's a great way to see a snapshot of what to expect. Just as a general note, please remember that interest accrual for unsubsidized loans is happening right now. So they started accruing interest when the loan was taken out. So that's already accruing if you have unsubsidized loans. For subsidized loans, those do not accrue interest when a student is in school or throughout the grace period. So interest will start accruing for those 6 months after graduation. For all federal student loans, there's no prepayment penalty. So what that means is that you can make earlier than necessary payments or greater than necessary payments to your federal student loans, and it does not hurt you. It may sound weird that I'm even saying that, but there are some types of loans, usually private loans, or really like personal loans or car loans, things like that. some of those do actually penalize the borrower for paying early. Federal student loans never do that, so it's always in your interest to pay them off as quickly as you can. Now, also as a disclaimer for this slide, and really for all of this information that I'm presenting here, this is all for federal student loans. So if you have private student loans, those are going to be handled separately. The repayment is handled separately. So make sure that you're following up with your loan servicer for any private student loans. For federal student loans, you have a federal loan servicer that is already assigned to you. And you can find out who yours is by logging into studentaid.gov, basically into your FAFSA. So if you don't know that, that's where you can find it. But make sure that you're starting to create those profiles on those loan servicer websites so that you can start managing this. And next slide, please. All right, now for some concrete next steps. First one is remember to complete federal student loan exit counseling. This is the bookend to entrance loan counseling, which hopefully you remember doing. This was a while ago, I know, but when you started your degree, when you first took out student loans, you had to complete entrance loan counseling. And that just gave you more information about what the loans are, how interest works, how repayment works. And this is the, like I said, the bookend. So this gives you more specific information about repayment. It is required, so please make sure you do it. You don't have to do it today, but it has to be done by the end of your grace period. And I would suggest doing it maybe like a little bit before graduation, maybe like a month or two before graduation. And then you can update information as necessary, and you can change your payment plans. But remember to do this. It is a federal requirement. Also, as a caveat, if you have Creighton institutional loans, so in particular the Creighton undergraduate institutional loan, that has a separate exit counseling that you have to do. And that has to be done before graduation because otherwise it can hold up your diploma. So make sure that you do that. The Creighton institutional exit loan counseling prior to graduation, I'd say, you know, at least like a month or so prior to avoid any delays with that. During the exit loan counseling for the federal loans, you will select your repayment plan. You can see some information about these plans at this link. And you can also make changes to this afterwards. So to make changes after the actual exit loan counseling, you'll have to contact your loan servicer. But one of the nice things about federal student loans is that it's generally pretty easy to switch between payment plans. So just always be in contact with your loan servicer if you want to make any changes or if you have any questions about plans. And then just as a general piece of advice, create a budget and stick to it. This is advice applicable at any point of your lives, but I think especially now as you're about to graduate, start thinking about what these monthly loan repayments will look like, how they'll impact your budget, how it'll impact other areas of your budget. So start doing that. I know it's no fun, it's stressful, but the sooner that you can kind of get a handle on that, the better. And if you have any questions about ways to approach budgeting, that's something we can help with as well. Next slide, please. And then just lastly here, a couple programs and federal updates that I wanted to mention. So Public Service Loan Forgiveness, or PSLF, is a really good program to forgive a lot of your debt, potentially. There are strings attached. This is a service-based program. Essentially, the idea is that you work for 10 years in public service, which is defined roughly as working for the government in some capacity or a nonprofit. And you make payments for those 10 years on an income-driven repayment plan. So typically those payments are lower than they otherwise would be. And after those 10 years are up, the remaining debt is forgiven, and it's forgiven tax-free. So it's a huge benefit, especially if you've got a significant amount of debt. So just something to consider. There's a lot to consider with this. Definitely check out this link and let us know if you have any questions, and make sure that you understand all of the requirements and strings attached before committing yourself to it. But it is, again, something that I would recommend considering. And then for some repayment plan information and some recent federal changes, you might have heard there was a bill passed a couple months ago that is going to pretty significantly change financial aid going forward. Now, for all of you, graduates this year or in May of 2026, a lot of these changes will not affect you, but there will be some changes to repayment. So before I get into all that, the standard repayment plan is just 10 years of equal payments. It's based purely on your debt. It's not based on income. But you can do income-driven repayment plans instead of that. And those help reduce your monthly payments. So it can definitely help, get you on your feet, especially as you're starting your career, or through like periods of unemployment, or if you get sick or something like that. So useful plans to consider. And more information is on studentaid.gov. I've listed that in this link here. Some of these will be changing over the next few years. For all of you, the current repayment plans, like the ones that you would see using the loan simulator, those are still available. You can still sign up for those upon graduation. But just be aware that in the years following that, you may have to transition to another plan. I can get more into the details of that, but generally that's kind of what to expect. Also, for anyone that is considering doing graduate or professional school after your undergraduate degree, please be aware that the Grad Plus loan will not be available after July 1st, 2026. This is a pretty substantial change that'll be happening in the world of financial aid. But don't worry, Creighton is actively working to create a sort of preferred lender list of private student lenders. So we're gonna, make sure that you have access to the best loans possible, private student loans that are gonna be in place of what was the Grad Plus loan. But if you have any questions with that, again, just let us know. With a lot of this stuff, this is all evolving right now. So the best place to get information is one, studentaid.gov, but then also the financial aid office. So if you have any questions, any concerns, any hesitancy, just come talk to us, and we'll be more than happy to share the latest information that we have. And just as one final point, as a disclaimer, all the information that I've shared today, that's accurate as of today. So September 23rd, 2025. But with federal things, that can change as Congress or the executive branch makes changes. So be aware of that, and we'll communicate out changes as we see them. But again, let us know if you have any, and we'll be happy to point you in the right direction.
Awesome. Thanks, Quinn. Next, we have Marie Angeli from the Office of the Registrar.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is really an important conversation, and I applaud you for making sure that you have all of these details to assist your students, and for the students to assist themselves. So again, thanks for attending tonight. The Office of the Registrar coordinates the academic records for the students. So that's official transcripts, diplomas, and things of that nature. Jerry mentioned earlier that there's a lot of back and forth at the time of graduation between the dean's offices and the registrar's office. We make sure that all of those academic records are accurate, that students are cleared for graduation, and then that the degree awards are processed in such a way that the date is on the diplomas are ordered, and official transcripts are ready in a timely manner. So to begin that process with the registrar's office, it's sort of a best kept secret. All students must submit a degree application in the NEST by February 15th. And February 15th is the deadline for May, but it's also the deadline for students who may need that extra summer class or two and wish to participate in the May commencement ceremony, or if they will be finishing up actually in December of 26, but again, wish to walk in the May commencement ceremony. So February 15th is important with that. The degree application captures a couple of things. It captures the spelling of how you wish your name to be displayed on your diploma. And just for information's sake, about 99% of the students use their full name. They'll use a full first name, full middle name, and then last name. So the application will allow you to be able to submit that information. It also collects the sizing of your gown and your height so that we can order your cap and gown. The registrar's office takes care of ordering the cap and gown for the ceremony, and there is no charge to you. That's all covered. And at the conclusion, we do use rental gowns. So the gowns are returned and then you keep your cap and tassel as a souvenir. So those are the kind of pieces of information that are on the degree application. Finally, we mail out diplomas. And so we are capturing a good address for you, realizing that you're putting in address that your diplomas will be mailed out in early June. So because of course students move at the time of graduation often, sometimes it's a good idea to put a parent's address or someplace where you will be. And I'll speak to that a little bit more as we go forward. So to access that application, you go to the Nest, the student tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and in the left-hand corner is the degree conferral application with graduation ceremony options. So the first thing is that your expected graduation date needs to match the term in which you're applying. So again, if you are a summer or a December graduate, you will need to select August or December for those fall, and it will give you the option to participate in the May ceremony. So sometimes that can be confusing for people. Check your expected graduation date in the Nest. If it needs to be updated right in that same area on the Nest, you can select the new expected graduation date. So it's very easy to do. Be sure the information on your application is accurate. And I would really ask you to please pay attention to capitalization of not only your name and such, but also your address, because these addresses, you will save me a lot of time in cleaning up, kind of quickly entered information. So please, be responsible and provide the address in with proper capitalization. Your diploma name and your hometown are printed in the commencement program. And if for some reason you don't wish it to be printed, there'll be an option for that on the application as well. Morgan, could we have the next slide? Thank you. As Jerry alluded to earlier, in all of the schools and colleges, students who are cleared by their dean's office will have their degree conferred in terms of May. It will be on May 16th, 2025, and that's regardless of when the ceremony is. For our undergraduates, that is the date of your ceremony. For students in the graduate programs, they have commencement on 2 days prior to that, and in the Phoenix campus, we have graduation on Sunday, May 17th. So I'm sorry, and that says 2025. It should say 2026 there, but it is May 16th. This will be the date that will be on your diploma as well as your official transcript. So be mindful of that. Make sure you have all your holds cleared prior to that May 16th, because if you do have holds, like particularly that exit counseling or parking fines or any of that, that will delay your diplomas. So please make sure that all of those are cleared, and you can check your holds in the Nest as well. I mentioned with diplomas, we will ship those out. We have a vendor that produces our diplomas, and we produce both a digital diploma and a paper diploma. And the digital diplomas are sent to the students to their Creighton email account, and they can be downloaded, they can be re-uploaded to social media, or for students who need licensure, that there's ways to upload it to those various platforms that you have. We also mail a traditional paper diploma to that address. The shipping notifications will come from CE Diploma at CE Credential Trust. So, and I will send information to all of the graduates in late April, not only talking about this and reminding them of these particular email addresses, but they are whitelisted, so they will not go to your junk mail in Creighton email. You will get those. Let's see what else here. As I said, prior to May 1st, I'll send an email. So if a student has an address change at that point, or there's a problem with their name, or they originally selected a middle initial, but now they'd like their full name spelled out, just get any of that information to me directly by May 1st, and we'll make sure that those things are taken care of for you. Keep in mind with your diploma name, the printing deadline for the program is usually about the third week in April. So if you do have name changes or things that come up, please make sure you get those to me sooner rather than later, so that we can ensure that the program for commencement is as correct as possible. Next slide, please. Transcript orders, all of our processing for graduation to make things official actually will take place after the commencement ceremony, because grades are not due until after the commencement ceremony. So if a student is planning to have a transcript sent immediately upon graduation, you can place those orders via the NEST through the National Student Clearinghouse. And what you need to select is after degree award. Make sure that you do not say after grades are posted, because grades have to be posted first before we can apply the degree awards and any kind of honors that a student may be entitled to. And so all of that has to be done before we can call the transcript totally official and complete. As I mentioned before, Creighton provides the cap and gown for all students who are participating in the ceremony. Gowns are rented, and they need to be returned to Hall A at CHI within about 30 minutes of the end of the ceremony. The graduate will keep their cap and tassel. Finally, just look for any kind of communications from my email address or your dean's offices if there's questions or things that arise regarding your degree applications or that. And my information is posted there, and we look very forward to graduating another wonderful class of Creighton graduates. Thank you. Oh, one last slide, sorry. Cap and gown pickup is right before, the 3 days before. It's the Wednesday through Friday at about noontime in the Ruth. And again, I will send you this information. Commencement is Saturday, May 16th, 2026. The time is 10 a.m. Location is CHI Health Center downtown. And the baccalaureate mass will be on the 15th, 2026. Sorry about that. And sometimes too, the schools and colleges will have honor ceremonies, or there may be other events that you will be notified with if you're involved with those. And there's a lot of helpful information on the general commencement webpage that is sponsored by our events department, and just things for out-of-town guests, travelers. Visit Omaha is a nice site if you need information about hotels or lodging or restaurants. And we really want to make your stay on campus during these days as festive and as family friendly as possible. I think that's it, Morgan.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So now we've gotten to our time in our live panel where we will answer questions from you all. I see some already in the chat. So I think the first one I'm going to have is for Quinn. And the question is, will students get an email about doing the Creighton institutional loan exit counseling? How does that repayment schedule look compared to the federal loans?
Yes, so you should get an email about that institutional exit loan counseling. Also, make sure to check your Nest account. I believe that the requirements are added there as well. But you should be notified. And if you have institutional loans, just be aware that you have to do that. So if you don't receive any email or notification, view that as suspicious, and make sure that you go out and try to seek out the notification for that, or reach out to the financial aid office or the business office for more information. Now, with the repayment plans for those institutional loans, so the institutional loan for Creighton is technically a private student loan. It's managed through Creighton, but because it's private, it does not go through one of the federal loan servicers. Instead, it'll be through a company called Heartland ECSI. So that's who you'll actually go through to complete the exit loan counseling and to select a payment plan. I've got a link here, and I think that Morgan can post that as well. But there's more information on our website about kind of what that process looks like, where to find the information. Generally, though, the repayment plan for those institutional loans will be a maximum of 10 years. It'll be a minimum payment of at least $50 per month, but potentially more than that, depending on your balance. So it's a little bit less flexible than some of the federal loan repayment plans. But the information for that will be on our website, as well as your master promissory note for the institutional loan. That's really the most important place to look, because that's the loan agreement that you signed to take out that loan, and that should outline all of those loan terms. But with any questions, reach out to us. Technically, that loan is managed through the business office rather than financial aid, but you can reach out to either office and we could direct you, or directly to Heartland ECSI.
Awesome. Thanks, Quinn. The next question is for Marie. Do you know if there's any information about announcements when they complete their graduation application?
The campus store has announcements available for purchase, and you can go there, or you can log on, and there's information about that. That's a piece that the registrar's office doesn't really handle. It goes through a link to Herf Jones, who is a well-known graduation company that can provide those. And many times too, families will just do their own. And we do have the Creighton logos and things of that nature up on the website if you wanted to use those and customize something for yourself.
Awesome. Thank you. Jeremy, I have a question for you. How does my student meet with a career advisor?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have appointments available upon request, and we have various appointment types that they can choose from. I believe I mentioned earlier that each of our undergraduate colleges has their own dedicated career advisors. So As they go into Handshake, joinhandshake.com or creighton.joinhandshake.com, excuse me. Students can, they'll put in their college, and then they'll put in the date and time and what appointment type they would like to do. And that could be an in-person or virtual appointment. For quick questions, we also offer drop-in hours every day, Monday through Friday from 2 o'clock to 4:30. And that's nothing that needs an appointment. So if a student has questions about a resume or an upcoming interview, certainly students can drop in anytime in the afternoon. And the nice thing is also, if students need a free headshot, we have a new headshot studio that we just opened in the Career Center last year. So if you're looking to update your LinkedIn profile or social media profiles for professional use, feel free to pop into our drop-in hours for a free headshot as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. Marie, another question for you. Have the students been given a timeline of events for this year in regards to graduation and degree requirements?
Well, I don't know about a specific timeline unless their dean's office has done that. The filing of the degree application is listed in our catalog. That's a standard. And as far as other events, I'm not responsible for that communication. So it may be coming out through the colleges and schools. I don't know. Jerry, do you have any more intel on that?
Typically right around registration time for second semester, which is the first part of November, the colleges, or at least I will, for the College of Arts and Sciences, and I think all the other colleges do the same thing, send an email to students prompting that appointment for a senior check. And then at the senior check meeting, we go through the timeline of events, when to apply. And actually, at the senior check meeting, we oftentimes work with the students to apply for graduation, and we discuss sort of like timeframes, when to look for information, and various deadlines that exist. And then we also talk about what happens during the week of the ceremony in terms of cap and gown pickup and that kind of thing. So I don't know of any official email that goes out about timelines, but we do talk about it during that senior check meeting. Also, there is a commencement website, as Marie mentioned, which is updated by University Communications, I think, and they also sometimes have various things with deadlines and timelines on there.
Awesome.
And that website is creighton.edu/commencement. If you look at it now, I think it will show last year's information. It's typically updated right around the middle of the spring semester.
Awesome. Thanks, Jerry. Yes, I was going to put another plug in for that website. The commencement website is the best spot to have all your questions answered, as well as to find any FAQs, frequently asked questions regarding about cap and gown, parking, what time mass starts, what time the graduation ceremony starts. All of those things you can find on that website there. We just want to thank you all again tonight for joining us, and we are so excited to have you all here and get to celebrate your Blue Jay on their journey towards graduation. If you have any more questions, feel free to email success@creighton.edu, and we'll be happy to answer those questions for you all. Again, this live panel will be recorded and will be posted on our Blue Jay Family portal if you all have any more questions or want to review it. Thank you again for your time, and we hope you have a great night. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.